meeting will come to order. We're now holding the annual meeting of Business Professionals of America, Michigan Association. Mr. Vice President, what are the major purposes of our professional organization?
We recognize the importance and understand the contributions that have been made to our country by business professionals. We are preparing to take our place in these challenging positions. We work together in Business Professionals of America to develop essential competencies in leadership, scholarship, character, and citizenship, so that we may share in the improvement of our economy and the advancement of our nation.
May we accomplish these objectives. Mr. Vice President, will you please present the officers?
With pleasure, I introduce State President Do-Hyun Cho. State Historian Leandro Cardenas. State Secretary Treasurer Connor Morin. State Parliamentarian Brian Torres Alcantar. Vice President of Membership Ethan Idalski. And myself, Executive Vice President Nikhil Desai. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Will all members and guests please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States and remain standing for the Business Professionals of America pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fellow members and guests, please join me in reciting the Business Professionals of America pledge as shown on the screen. We are met in a spirit of friendship and goodwill as we prepare for careers in a world-class workforce. We work together to develop professionalism and leadership through Business Professionals of America and pledge our loyalty to our nation. Please be seated. The first item of business is the reports of the Conference Committee. The Chair recognizes the Executive Vice President, Nikhil Desai, to present the Credentials Committee report.
Mr. President, attached is the list of the names of the voting members of the conference as of 6:33 p.m. The committee reports that there are the following number of voting delegates entitled to vote: 172. In addition, the committee reports the following non-voting delegates present: elected officers, 6; past presidents of Michigan BPA, 3; past national officers, 4; alumni, 38; chapter members, 1,314; guests, 320. Total number in attendance, 1,685. On behalf of the committee, I move that the roll of delegates hereby submitted be the official roll of voting and non-voting members and guests of the conference.
It is moved to adopt the Credentials Committee report. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote on the Credentials Committee report. All voting delegates in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Thank you, Nikhil. The Chair recognizes State Parliamentarian Brian Torres Alcantar to present the Conference Standing Rules Committee report.
The Conference Standing Rules Committee reports and presents the following standing rules for this annual conference. 1. Directly after the opening ceremonies of the annual business meeting, the Credentials Committee shall report the number of delegates registered as present with proper credentials and shall make a supplementary report prior to adjourning the annual business meeting. 2. Voting delegates shall be required to wear a voting delegate ribbon issued by the Credentials Committee in order to be seated in the delegate session of the ballroom. 3. Voting delegates that leave before the conclusion of the annual business meeting and opening session shall lose their voting privileges for the remainder of the conference. Alternates or proxies are not allowed. 4. Name badges and wristbands shall be worn for admission to all meetings, workshops, and conference events. Badges or wristbands may not be transferred. 5. Voting delegates wishing to speak shall stand and state their name and school. Upon being recognized, the delegate shall state their business. 6. All main motions and amendments thereto shall be written, signed by the mover, and given to the secretary after being stated by the president. 7. No member may speak for more than once on the same question or for longer than 2 minutes. In the case of the maker of a motion and the first speaker in opposition to it, 3 minutes shall be allowed. Individuals called on to provide information or to make reports are not governed by this rule. 8. The president shall appoint a committee of 3 to read and approve the conference minutes. 9. Nominations from the floor for officer elections will not be allowed. 10. The delegate code of conduct and dress code, previously published in the conference registration materials and in the conference program, will hereby be enforced throughout the conference, and the reading of these documents to the assembly shall not be required. By direction of the Conference Standing Rules Committee, I move the adoption of the standing rules as just read.
It is moved to adopt the conference standing rules. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Adoption of the standing rules requires a 2/3 vote. All voting delegates in favor of adopting the standing rules, please rise. Be seated. Those opposed, please rise. Be seated. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the standing rules are adopted. Thank you, Brian. The chair recognizes State Historian Leandro Cardenas to present the Program Committee report.
Mr. President, an electronic version of the program as proposed by the Program Committee was provided to all the delegates by way of the Michigan BPA website. By direction of the committee, I move the adoption of the program.
It is moved to adopt the conference program. Is there any debate? The question is on the adoption of the conference program. All voting delegates in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Thank you, Leandro. At this time, the chair announces that he appoints Nikhil Desai, Ethan Adolsky, and Brian Torres-Alcantar to serve as the Minutes Approval Committee. The chair now recognizes State Secretary-Treasurer Connor Morin to report on the minutes of the 2022 Annual Conference and to present the Treasurer's report.
The minutes of the 2022 Annual Conference were reviewed and approved by the Minutes Approval Committee. A copy of the minutes is available upon request from the State Office. There are currently 3,335 members in the Michigan Association. A complete financial report is available upon request to the State Office.
Thank you, Connor. The next item of business is a special order, which is a consideration of the proposed bylaw amendment. A copy of the proposed bylaw amendment was distributed to the voting delegates in the voting delegates packet, which is available on the Michigan BPA website and on our mobile conference app. In addition, notice of the bylaw amendment was posted on the Michigan BPA website. Amendments to the proposed bylaws require a 2/3 vote of the voting delegates at our annual business meeting. There is one proposed bylaw amendment that will be read by the Secretary-Treasurer. Mr. Secretary-Treasurer, please present the proposed amendment?
Mr. President, the proposed amendment is to amend the bylaw Article 5, Section 3 by striking out $11 and inserting $12.50. The amendment is to change our current state dues amount. This amendment is proposed by the Michigan BPA State Executive Council. The rationale is Michigan BPA has not had a dues increase in 6 years, which, with changes in the economy and increased expenses to the association due to the pandemic, a dues increase is necessary. The State Executive Council recommends this amendment be adopted.
It is moved to amend Bylaw Article 5, Section 3 by striking out $11 and inserting $12.50. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. Adoption of the bylaw amendment requires a 2/3 vote. All voting delegates in favor of amending Bylaw Article 5, Section 3 by striking out $11 and inserting $12.50, please rise. Be seated. Those opposed, please rise. Be seated. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the bylaw amendment is adopted. The next item of business is the report of the nominating committee. Connor, will you please give the report?
Voting delegates, as representatives of your chapter, you will be responsible for electing the 2023-2024 State Executive Council. Each candidate was interviewed earlier today and completed a state officer quiz. During the opening session, each candidate will speak on a topic given to him this morning. In addition, the candidates will answer one question on stage during this question. Each candidate will be evaluated as they speak. We will be looking for confidence, appearance, character, poise, and speaking ability. These are a few of the essential qualities of a State Executive Council member. Candidates will be ranked on a point system by the current State Executive Council, State Officer Coordinator, and State Director, collectively known as the Appointment Committee. The point system will be as follows. Candidates will be ranked on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least possible points and 5 being the greatest possible points available. Candidates will campaign for the opportunity to serve Michigan BPA and not campaign for a specific office. Only the candidates receiving a majority vote from the voting delegates will be placed in specific offices by the Appointment Committee. After the conclusion of the opening session, the candidates will be ranked by the current State Executive Council on the basis of their application, interview, advisor recommendations, response to the impromptu question, and their speech. Voting delegates, we ask you to be consistent with evaluating each candidate's speech. This is extremely important as you are electing the next leaders of the Michigan Association Business Professionals of America. As a reminder, voting delegates must be present during the entire annual business meeting and opening session. If you leave either session, you will forfeit your votes for your chapter.
We would like to introduce the candidates that are seeking an office on the 2023 to 2024 State Executive Council. Please stand when your name is called and proceed on stage. Abigail Walther, Sioux Area Career Center. Seth Greenwood, Bay Aranac Career Center, PM. Savi Bandaranayake, Ann Arbor Huron High School. Alexia Pringle, Bay Aranac ISD Career Center, AM. Marissa Chahaj, North Branch High School. Chloe Osterman, Anchor Bay High School. Curtis Bershaw, St. Louis High School. James Anderson, Berrien Springs High School. Jay Patel, Wyoming High School. Maura McSweeney, Mercy High School. Each candidate will choose an impromptu question from the bowl and will have 30 seconds to answer the question. Abigail Walther. What is something you have always wanted to try but never have? Again, what is something you have always wanted to try but never have?
I have always wanted to try joining different clubs in my school that are something that would be out of my comfort zone, anything like robotics or the Quiz Bowl team that I think would just be super interesting to learn more about and to meet new people who have different interests than I do. I think it would be super informative and get me out there to meet new people in my school and get more involved in my community in general.
Seth Greenwood. What qualities make a good leader? Again, what qualities make a good leader?
I believe the qualities that make a good leader are dependability, reliability, and honesty. If you are not honest with the people that you are leading, you are not leading them in the correct direction. And being reliable is part of being a leader. Being reliable means that you are leading correctly. And being dependable is being a leader itself.
Savi Bandarniyake. How do you spend your time after school? Again, how do you spend your time after school?
Most days after school, I have after-school commitments such as clubs and extracurriculars that I attend to. But on days that I don't, I often go home, just hang out with my dog, have a quick snack, and then at a set time each day, I'll start doing my work, and then I'll take a break, and then start doing my work, and I'll cycle that to maintain my productivity each day. But I also like to balance having fun, so most days I'll also have some sort of fun activity that I'll do with my friends, whether that's a call or going out with them. Yeah.
Alexia Pringle. What is a quote or motto that you live by? Again, what is a quote or motto that you live by?
A motto that I truly believe in is anything that BPA has written, especially the BPA pledge. I believe that it is a great thing to live by and that BPA as a whole will give you something to work on, and it'll be something that you can use it in your future, and I see myself every day using BPA qualities, so I guess any kind of BPA motto, like giving purpose to potential, would be the motto that I live by.
Marissa Chahaj. How do you show others that you value them? Again, how do you show others that you value them?
I show others that I value them by being there to support them and telling them how much they mean to me and spending a lot of my time with them. I like to be around people that really value me and motivate me to become a better person and a better individual overall.
Chloe Osterman. Tell us a time you had to make a last-minute change. Again, tell us a time you had to make a last-minute change.
One of the most recent times that I had to make a last-minute change is when I was heading up to Gaylord, Michigan to work at a summer camp that I frequented a lot when I was younger, but unfortunately I had a funeral to go to all the way in Denver, Colorado, so I had to make the last-minute change the day I was supposed to go to camp and let the director know I will not make it.
Curtis Brashaw. If you received $1 million, how would you spend it? Again, if you received $1 million, how would you spend it?
Well, I'd, number one, want to make sure that I am able to enjoy myself. I'd probably buy a decent amount of clothes. I'd help my family out a little bit and my friends. But I'd also want to invest the money to make sure that I have it in the future. That's not to say that I will invest all of the money, but most of it. And the other money I will definitely enjoy. I think a speedboat and a lake house would be pretty nice, personally. But that's how I'd spend $1 million. Thank you.
James Anderson. What would you consider to be your passion and why? Again, what would you consider to be your passion and why?
Something that I would consider my passion is tennis. I started tennis my freshman year and grew a love for it. I've always wanted to play with my seniors and try to get as good as them. I've dedicated myself to the sport like 4 hours a day during the summer, my freshman year. I did tone it down recently due to other extracurriculars, but I think tennis is still my passion.
Jay Patel. How do you hold yourself responsible when you work on your own? Again, how do you hold yourself responsible when you work on your own?
So I make sure to keep everything I need to do on the planner and make sure to list it. If I don't finish it, I'll make sure to try and finish it. If not, then I might just ask my mom to punish me or something. But that's about it.
Thank you. Maura McSweeney. How do you solve a dispute with other classmates? Again, how do you solve a dispute with other classmates?
Well, first, I would probably go up and address them. Communication's key when it comes to that kind of stuff. After that, I would probably seek advice out from my friends. What's the best option? If it gets to the point where it comes down to a class project or something like that, I would likely turn to my teacher, ask her to be flexible, ask him or her to be flexible, and help us talk about it and what can we do to be better.
That will conclude the impromptu questions. Good luck to all the candidates.
All right. The next item of business is the second The next item of business is the second report of the Credentials Committee. The chair recognizes Executive Vice President Nikhil Desai.
Mr. President, attached is the list of the names of the voting members of the conference as of 6:54 p.m. The committee reports that there are the following number of voting delegates eligible to vote: 174. In addition, the committee reports the following non-voting delegates present: elected officers, 6. Past presidents of Michigan BPA, 3. Past national officers, 4. Alumni, 38. Chapter members, 1,685. Guests, 330. Total number in attendance. 1,685. On behalf of the committee, I move that the roll of delegates hereby submitted be the official roll of voting and non-voting members and guests of the conference.
It is moved to adopt the Credentials Committee report. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote on the Credentials Committee report. All voting delegates in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Mr. Secretary, do you know of any further business which should be transacted at this time?
I have none, Mr. President.
Are there any announcements?
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Historian.
I would like to make a few announcements. First, a reminder that only the voting delegates whose name badges were scanned upon entering the session will be eligible to vote at tomorrow's Meet the Candidates campaign rally. If the designated voting delegates of your chapter did not have their name badge scanned at the start of the session, please see a state officer immediately after we adjourn this session. The Parade of Presidents will begin promptly at 7:30 p.m. All chapter presidents and one designated chapter member participating in the Parade of Presidents should meet the state officers outside the doors of the ballroom to my right immediately following this session. More instructions will be given at that time.
Are there any other announcements? We are about to adjourn this annual business meeting of the Michigan Association of Business Professionals of America. As we associate together, let us be supportive of each other as we strive to attain the goals of this organization. If there's no objection, I now declare this meeting adjourned.